Hello. On this session, we are going to talk about how to win people to a way of thinking. So it's basically how to influence both your team members and the clients in order to find that common language or vision that we talk about on the first session.
Yes, exactly. So it's finding basically the points of contact or the common ground that both of you have, and starting the conversation with that common ground, not just showing the differences or showing mistakes that one part has above the other, or showing that one is superior to the other, but showing that common ground will help us build bridges of communication, and that will open the people to speak about their interest and also be more collaborative with the objective or the common vision that we want to build.
Basically not showing off.
Yes, basically not showing off, exactly. So, and it's also knowing the other point of view of the person, putting yourself in the place of the other person and understanding the drivers, the interest, and using that in order to find that common ground towards the vision that we want to build.
And how you do that?
And
by listening.
Exactly.
We said on the second session, by listening, you can try to understand what other's point of view, where are they coming from. You might have a solution, a perfect solution in mind, like this is the way we're going to do things, but then the client tells you A, B, and C. Maybe they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the budget, maybe they don't have the teams. So it's about trying to take into account that point of view and saying, okay, so based on that, then the solution should be the ENF.
Yes, that's true. And sometimes it's difficult to put our frustration or our points of view aside, not just imposing what we think, but really trying hard to understand the other person and constructing a common ground all together. And we want to invite you also to throw a challenge, right, to the team and to the client as well. Not just giving orders, but showing a challenge that can be a friendly way of inviting the other person to think alike, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, because challenge doesn't mean, you need to deliver all this that should take a month in 2 days. I mean, that is a challenge. It's a common challenge.
Yeah.
But that's not the challenge we're trying to think about. We're trying to think, go a little bit further than the way you're thinking. Not just try to do, just, for example, something digitally, but think digitally the entire process, reimagine the entire process. So that's what we're saying when we're saying challenging.
Yeah.
And one of the tools that we have here, to challenge and share feedback with our teams, it is BetterMe. BetterMe is a very simple way of just sharing feedback on a meeting. Hey, I love how you challenge the client on the meeting, or on an outing, or on any team meeting that you have, just sharing that quick feedback that happened on real time. And myself or yourself, you're going to really appreciate when someone tells you, either because something went really great, or because you might need to change the way you're talking on the next session. So what we talk about on this session is about basically finding that common ground, how we, that common language, common ground. We talk about taking into account others people's point of view by listening, and we talk about challenging both the team and the client to go a step further, and sharing that challenge or feedback real time by leveraging BetterMe.
Yes, exactly.